Now, what we're doing is, in this next exercise, we're using trigonometry, which is saw, car, toa, to find sides, lengths of sides in triangles. Now, the important thing about trigonometry, okay, when you need to find the side, girls, for trigonometry, it always must be a right-angled triangle. You will have, if you want to find a side, you should have one of the angles, and you will have another side. Now, it says to find the length of a side, determine which ratio is used. Now, this is my angle. I do not want you marking the side with nothing on it. So this side up here has nothing on it. So, compared to in reference to the 21-degree angle, tell me about y. What is it? It's opposite. And this side here, 34, is the? So which ratio, saw, car, toa, uses O and H? Sine. So, because there's nothing on the adjacent side, we don't use the ratio with A in it. Here we're using the ratio with opposite and hypotenuse. Does that make sense? So don't label the blank side. So you're using the ratio with O and H. It's saw. So therefore, this one is saw, which means sine theta, write the rule, is opposite over hypotenuse. That's what the rule means. Now we substitute. What is the theta? So first we label the sides. It says determine which ratio is used. We do that by looking at our angle, labeling the unknown and the one that you know. You never label the one that you don't know, because then it'll just confuse you. Because there's nothing there to substitute for that other side, so don't write it down. So what is theta in this case? Sine of 21, opposite is y over, and hypotenuse is 34. So I've got sine 21 equals y divided by 34. Y divide by 34. I need to get y on its own. What's the opposite of divide by? So therefore y is 34 times sine 21. Or I can write sine 21 times 34. I've got sine 21 equals y divide by 34. I need to get y on its own. At the moment it's y divide by 34. So therefore, y will equal sine 21 times 34, or 34 times sine 21. Are you okay with that? Opposite of divide is times. So go to your calculator and do 34 times sine 31, or just 34 sine 21. And what do you get? Sorry, 12? Etc. I want it to one decimal place, so 12.2. I don't know what the units are, so it doesn't matter. So that's your first one. I might go straight. Can I go across? Have you got that down? All right, question 2. Girls, here's my angle. Label the sides. Let's do this one first. What's that one? The 42. Good. And in relation to the 15, is the G adjacent or opposite? So we're using the one with A and H, which is car. So cos theta is adjacent over hypotenuse. All you do, can you see that or not really? Because I'll do it in black. So cos of, and now we substitute, cos of 15, adjacent is G over 42. We're trying to work out what G is. G divided by 42 is cos 15. So opposite of divide by 42 will be times. You can go cos 15 times 42, but if you do it that way, please make sure that your calculator does not do the cos of 15 times 42, which is something like 600. I don't want you doing the cos of 600. I need cos of 15 times 42. I'm really worried that if you do it on your calculator, it's going to put the 15 and the 42 together. I prefer you to do 42 times cos 15. Now, can you try it both ways on your calculator and see if one of the ways gives you a weird answer? Number first. So just make sure that doing those on your calculator either way gives you the same answer. What do you get? 40.6. I can't. 40.6.
40. Yeah, one decimal place.
My angle, everything gets marked in relation to that angle. Tell me about the 13.9. What's that? In relation to that angle. And tell me, look, this one here is the hypotenuse, but I'm not going to write on it because I've got nothing there. What's the D? Okay, so which rule do I use with O and A? Saw, car, toa. Toa, T-O-A. It's the toa one. So this is going to be tan theta. What does TOA mean? Tan theta is adjacent over toa. Sorry, I've written it wrong. It's opposite. So just fixing that, tan theta is opposite over adjacent. Substituting in your values, we get, what's theta in this case? Theta is always the angle. Tan of?
It's not hypotenuse.
I know. It's opposite over adjacent. Sorry, girls, just a bit distracted. Tan theta is opposite over adjacent. So, tan theta is, what's opposite? According to your diagram, what's opposite? D, what's adjacent? So, you want D on its own. D, divide by 13.9. What's the opposite of divide by 13.9? And I didn't put the number in. It's tan of 51. So, tan of 51 is D over 13.9. D is tan of 51 times 13.9 because I'm trying to work out what D is on its own. Get rid of the divide by 13.9. Opposite is times. What do you get, girls?
17.2 to 1 decimal place.
17.2 to 1 decimal place. Girls, whenever you're rounding to decimal places, please put the rounded off answer first. Anyone got the rounded off answer first?
17.165.
So you should write that first, 17.165, whatever it might be. And then it's 17.2, which is approximately equal to 17.2. Now, okay, next. Now, girls, the first three answers or questions have degrees only. If anyone's waiting, they can try the next one. All right, question D. Doesn't matter that it's degrees and minutes. We still do it the same way. It's only entered into the calculator separately. There's your angle. What do you have? What's G?
Adjacent.
Adjacent. Good. And? Good. So we use the AH one, which is cos. Car is AH. Cos theta is adjacent over hypotenuse. Now, girls, you have to write it out like that. You know, a lot of girls know that it's car, but they don't know how to write cos theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. All right, we find that with some of the classes. So theta is 34 degrees 11 minutes. Adjacent is G. Hypotenuse is 61. So therefore G is, to get G on its own at the moment, it's G divide by 61. Opposite of dividing by 61 is? So it's times 61. Now, if you watched my video over the weekend, so you go cos 34, press the DMS button, 11, DMS button. Then we go times 61, what do we get? 50.461 dot dot dot, which is 1 decimal place. So putting an approximately 50.5. Okay, girls? Shh. Yes. Next question. 29 degrees 40 minutes is your angle. So girls, with this year, you are doing 5.1 and 5.2 component of this, which means the other classes will only be doing degrees. You do degrees and minutes, and we'll also be looking at something called bearings, okay, which is a little bit tricky. So girls, compared to this angle, in relation to this angle, which sides do you have?
Adjacent and opposite.
Adjacent and opposite, which is O and A, which is? TOA. saw, car, toa. So tan theta is opposite over adjacent. The angle is 29 degrees 40 minutes. Opposite is B. Adjacent's 23. You should be doing this by now. B is tan 29 degrees 40 minutes times 23, and you get 29 degrees 40 minutes. So you're replacing the angle with the theta with what the angle is. You're replacing the opposite with B, the adjacent with 23. You're trying to get B on its own. And what do we get, girls? 13.1012, etc. Dot, 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 dot. So to one decimal place, that's approximately 13.1. Good. And if you could do the last one, please. There's the right angle. This one is the hypotenuse. Girls, that's the hypotenuse, opposite the right angle. What about this one? Opposite, and it's sine, saw, it's sine. Shh. Girls, you don't have the adjacent. There's the right angle. Sine theta is opposite over hypotenuse. Sine 55 degrees 16 minutes is K over 47. To get K on its own, you know what to do? Sine 55 degrees 16 minutes times 47. K equals with some dots and then the rounded off answer. What do you get? That'll do. 38.6251 dot, 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 dot. Don't waste your time. Therefore, rounded to one decimal place, 38 point. No. Is it 6.2? Okay. Okay, girls. In the questions we did so far, the pronumeral was on the numerator, which is fine. But when the pronumeral is on the denominator, we need to do something special. And we'll either take reciprocal of both sides, or I'll just show you something else that we will do, all right? So let's just start. Don't worry about it yet. So let's just label our sides. What have we got? There's the angle. What have you got? What's the A? A happens to be adjacent, and 15 is? So which one do we use? O and A, girls. O and A. Toa. Tan theta is opposite over adjacent. I'm not going to be doing all these. Tan of 29. What's the opposite? 15 over A. Now the A is on the bottom. So I'm not going to do this take reciprocal of both sides. I'm going to, if I've got 15 divide by A, I need to get the A off the bottom. What's the opposite of dividing by A? Well, the A will go up there. Girls, you know the quickest thing, if you can remember? Swap these two diagonally. So the bottom here gets swapped with the top there, and that gets swapped here. If you want, I'll show you the long way first up, but then you will learn if A or your unknowns on the denominator, you swap it with what's on the opposite side of the equal sign. That's on the denominator, you swap it with the numerator. But let's just move it to the other side. So 15 divide by A. Opposite of dividing by A is? So I've got tan of 29 times A is 15. If I want to do it the long way. Now, girls, how do I get A on its own? How's A attached to tan 29? With a times. What's the opposite of times? So, girls, instead of doing that, if you look at this with the star and this one with the star. So you can do it the long way. Tan 29 times A is 15, and then divide by tan 29. But haven't I just swapped the A with the tan 29? Look, the A was down here, the tan 29's up there. Now the A is where the tan 29 was, and the tan 29 is where the A was. Can you see that? They've been swapped. Okay, now that's the quickest way to do it. Are you okay with doing that, but? So 15 divided by tan 29 is? Etc. Which means that A is, approximately equal to 27.1. So girls, with these, your pronumerals are going to be on the denominator. So, do you want me to write the little rule? Swap pronumeral on denominator with the numerator on the other side. With numerator on the other side of the equal sign. Okay, so swap the pronumeral on the denominator with the numerator on the other side. You swap them. Got the idea? I mean, you can take the long way round, but once you've been doing it for a while, you'll feel comfortable doing that. So swap the pronumeral on the denominator with the numerator on the other side. It's like cross multiplying. You're doing half across multiply, half across multiply in a way. All right? Okay, with the next one, just label them. What have we got? There's your angle. Well, what's Q anyway? And this one is adjacent. A and H. Saw, car, toa. C-A-H, A-H, car. So, can I move now? So therefore, here I've got swap pronumeral on denominator with numerator on the other side. So that will happen if you've got a pronumeral on the denominator. So I've got cos of theta is adjacent on hypotenuse. That's what that means. Substituting, cos of 37 is adjacent is 28.3 over Q. And you say, whoops, pronumeral on the denominator. Easy. So what do? You swap it, because if you go divide by Q opposites times, then you've got to put the cos 37 back down there anyway. So what do you get? Q is 28.3 over cos 37. So basically what I do is a swap here. 28.3 over cos 37 . 35.45 what? 435 ... which is approximately equal to 35 point what? 4. You told me 35.435? Yeah, which is approximately equal to 35.4 ... Let's just do one with degrees and minutes. And then I'll go to the next page. Car, T. I'm going to do E down in the corner. Have you got that up there already or not? Can I just do this degrees and minutes one? You should be fine with the rest. Just do the rest and compare them with each other. I'm doing E, the bottom corner. What have I got? Yeah, because I've got, well, that's the hypotenuse. And that's opposite, so it's SO. So I've got sine theta is opposite over hypotenuse. Sine of 36 degrees, 53 minutes is opposite, 25.4. Hypotenuse is V. Pronumerals on the denominator. See, girls, you don't ever want the pronumeral on the denominator because you're not working out what it is. You're working out something divided by it. So what do I do, girls? What do I do? V is 0.4 divided by sine 36 degrees, 53 minutes. Anyone? Sine 30 is about a half. You should be getting about 50-ish. 50 something or 40 something?
42.320. ...
which is approximately equal to 1 decimal place. Good. Now, girls, the others you can do on your own. Do you think you're okay? I'm not teaching you anything new now. We're just doing some worded problems. Girls, you know when you go and look for TVs and you think it's all great, and when they say this is a 40-inch TV or a 120 centimetre TV, they mean that it's the diagonal. So if you see 40-inch, 45-inch, 50-inch. It's the length of the diagonal of the TV. So it says the size of a television set is determined by the diagonal length on the picture screen. In a 120 centimetre big screen TV, so the distance for the diagonal is 120 centimetres, the diagonal makes an angle of 35 degrees with the length. That's the length and that's the width of the screen. It's asking you to calculate L, the length of the screen, and they're asking you to calculate W, the width of the screen. So I'm going to draw the triangles separately. Now, because I want to calculate L, I'm going to do a separate triangle for the L without the W. And here's the 120, and there's the 35. So girls, if I want to work out L, I'm going to draw my own diagram for that, and we'll do the working out here. Do not put the W1 in to work out the L. It's unknown and it's not going to help you. So if I want to work out L, what do I use? Hypotenuse, adjacent, so it'll be car. So cos theta is adjacent over hypotenuse. Cos of 35 is L over 120. So this is a nice one because the L is on the top. It's fine. So you just do it normally. So I need to work over here. So I just need to get rid of the divide by 120, right? So don't get confused between pronumeral on the denominator and pronumeral on the numerator. If you want the L on its own, it's good because it's at the top. That's where it's supposed to be. L divide by 120, opposite of divide by 120 is, girls, times. So L is cos 35 times 120, and you will get an answer. Now, anyone got it? Sorry? Which is approximately equal to, now they want it to the nearest millimetre. Now girls, how many millimetres in a centimetre? 10. That means and you know how this is all in centimetres? You need to listen carefully. 1. Because 10 millimetres equals 1 centimetre, because 1 centimetre is 10 millimetres, then you give 1 decimal place in the centimetres because the 8 is the centimetre place, the 2 is the millimetre place. All right, so 1 centimetre is 10 millimetres, so that's telling you to give 1 decimal place if it's written in centimetres. Your other thing is to change it all to millimetres, round it to the nearest and put it back, but you'll find that's your trick. 1 centimetre is 10 millimetres, 1 0, give me 1 decimal place. So what's that? 98.3. So they still want the answer in centimetres, but that is the same as 983 millimetres. All right? So please, 1 centimetre is 10 millimetres. 1 0, girls, 1 0 means 1 decimal place for your answer. That's the trick. So if you've got a question in metres, but they want it to the nearest centimetre, because 100 centimetres equals a metre, you'd give 2 decimal places. Now you have to find the width as well. Do not use the answer from the previous section. Can I move back? Right, to find W, do not use the L. You can start again. So to find W, don't use L because it's rounded off. You won't get an exact answer. So what are you going to use this time for W? Opposite, hypotenuse. So we're going to use sine, O and H. Sine theta is opposite on hypotenuse. Probably could have gone down for each one. Sine of 35, opposite is W over 120. Is this one okay to work out? The pronumerals on the top, that's all good. W is sine of 35 times 120, and you can get an answer, and then you can round it off to 1 decimal place. Dot, 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 which is approximately equal to 68.8. Okay. Sorry? No, you don't write it in millimeters. You give the answer in centimeters, but that is the same as 688 millimeters, but they still want the answer in centimeters, but correct to the nearest millimeter. See, girls, when you go centimeters, the next smallest thing, if you're thinking of a ruler, girls, a school building casts a shadow of 32 meters along the playground. Shadows are cast along the ground. That distance, the hypotenuse, is not 32. It's the distance on the ground. The altitude of the sun is how high up, the angle at which the sun is from the horizontal looking up. That's the altitude of the sun. The sun has an altitude of 29 degrees 44 minutes. When the sun rises, it's got a very low altitude. When the sun is directly above you, what do you think its altitude is? Directly above you, 90. From when it's risen to directly above you, it's then 90. All right? And then it goes back down the other side. Okay, calculate the height of the building. What do we use? Sine, cos, or tan? What have you got? Opposite, adjacent. All good? Girls, can I just do the first line and you fix it up later? So cos, no it's not. Tan, theta, is opposite over adjacent. Correct. So tan of 29 degrees 44 minutes is h over 32. How do you do h? Come on, girls. So, girls, h divide by 32, opposite of divide by 32 is times. And you should get, what did we get? Girls, what have we got? And so I don't know what the answer above it is. 18 point? That'll do. Okay, are we good? To the nearest meter, 18. 18 meters. I'll just get rid of that. 18 to the nearest meter. All right, next question. We need to get more done. If you're waiting, you can start it, but be very, very careful because you need to read this next question really carefully. Erica is flying a kite at the local park. She is 1.4 meters tall. Ladies, so this distance is 1.4 from there to there in pink. Do you get that? The string is 23 meters long. That's the string. There's the kite. And, all right, the string is 23 meters long. And the kite, the string, makes an angle of 64.7 degrees with the vertical. Now, that's a vertical line, so the angle in here is the angle with the vertical. Now, it says how high is the kite above the ground. Girls, you can only work within the triangle and work out this. This is not the height, so I'm just going to call this x at the moment. But to get the height, whatever I get for x, what do I do with that number when I'm done? Add the 1.4 to it. So when you use trigonometry, you can only work out this bit of the triangle. Do you see that? So when you're done, so I'm going to call this bit x, and that's 1.4. Okay, what do we use? Sine, cos, or tan? So I've got adjacent, I've got hypotenuse. Are we all good with what rule? Cos theta is adjacent over hypotenuse. Cos 64 degrees 7 minutes is x over 23. Is this a good one with x on the numerator? So what do you do with the 23? Times, and you get, anyone got an answer? The nearest tenth of a meter, that's the tenths place. Give me one decimal place, in other words. So what's that to the nearest tenth? Girls? Units, tenths. 10.0. That's to the nearest 10. Oh, wait a sec. Yeah, that's okay. All right, let's just keep it. Just keep it at the moment. So what's the height? What do? That to 1.4, which is what? 11.4 4404 dot dot. I need it to the nearest tenth. Where's the tenths place? 11.4 meters. Now, girls, I really want to try one more question because there may be pronumerals on the denominator. First question. A straight road rises at an angle of 19 degrees to the horizontal. There's the road. Girls. Shh, girls. Straight road rises at an angle of 19 degrees to the horizontal. See, there's the road and there's the horizontal, that's the vertical. Tell me where I put the 19 degrees. Down here or up there? Good. And a straight road rises at an angle of 19 degrees to the horizontal and has a vertical rise of 115. Where do I put the 115? Here. That's the vertical rise. It's not along the road. Find L. Now, girls, L's going to be on the denominator here. Can I go to the next question? Next question. No. There's the road. The road rises. That's the road. That's the vertical rise. Look, girls, I'll just do this one. So, let's go. What have we got? Sohcahtoa. Which one? Opposite. Hypotenuse. Shh. Sine theta is opposite over hypotenuse. Sine of 19 is 115 over L. All right, what do I do with this type? L's on the bottom. Warning, warning, warning. You swap. We don't want it on the bottom. Which is? Anyone? Whatever.
It's 353.228.
Which is 353 meters.